And we're live.
Boom.
What is up, boys? We're back. It is my favorite show of the preseason, the pre-draft rankings, where we first get to show you guys where we think you all rank. You'll find out if you sucked at the draft, if you did well, and there are some surprises, and there are some obvious rankings here. Noah, Justin, how y'all doing?
Doing good. Got my team. Now the work begins.
Yeah, I'm pretty... So I don't know about you guys. You know, I mocked a ton. I had a really good conversation with Mark about mocking in general. He doesn't mock at all. And my team looks nothing like any of the teams I ever mocked. But I'm not disappointed with my team either. So it's not like, you know, that's a thing. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I go into the draft every year with 4 plans: Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. Last year, I got Plan D, but it worked out. This year, I got Plan A, so the draft went quite well for me. So I got exactly what I wanted, which is kind of awesome because that never happened.
Good for you. What?
How did your draft go? Like, is this what you were expecting?
It was incredibly easy. I did not expect it to be this easy. I thought I was going to be very frustrated. I thought I was going to be panicking to grab either a QB or a tight end with my 6th pick before I waited until the 11th because I needed to grab someone then, otherwise I wasn't going to have a chance. But everything just kind of fell to me, so very stress-free after the second round.
All right. Well, that's good to know. I was panicking.
I did not expect. I didn't think it would be that easy.
And most of that had to do with you. But anyway, we'll dive into it. So, do we want to put this on screen and talk about it, or do we want to reveal? Do we just want to put it on screen?
Well, just put it on screen anyway. People won't see it, but it's fine.
Let's do it. Okay, so here's our rankings. Actually, let me flip my screens here. It might be easier for you guys to read. Hold on. Yes, unlimited screens. Okay, here we go. So, we're gonna start at the bottom. And some of these are pretty obvious to me. I'm sure you guys have very similar. We haven't talked about this pre-recording. We all individually ranked, and then this is where we line up, and that's kind of like a little insider knowledge to how our rankings go. We don't talk about it until we get on pod, which is always fun. So I'm sure we'll talk each other in and out. And I do apologize for the viewers at home. You might get you're gonna not see my face for a little bit. Hold on, wait. Can you guys still hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyway, there's a baby getting her butt changed behind me. Huh? Oh, and it's disgusting. Anyway, the joys of fatherhood. Okay. So anyway, we're gonna start at 12, work our way up, and at 12
12th is not Jacob.
Is a manager who does a great job every
loves
year.
12 so much,
but was really, really down pat in draft picks.
Right.
Did his
actually
best.
Santos.
But it's Santos
at number 12.
And I know for us it's 12, 11.
Oh, you don't have him at 12, no? You got him at 11.
We'll find out why.
What is his team name?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, DeAndre Yusuf.
Check.
Okay, let's see. What did I put him at? I put him at 11, yeah.
Hello? Hello? I cut out there for a second, I think.
Yeah.
So, Josh Allen adds a lot.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
But I don't really like his RB depth. Yeah, I don't know. I think Swift and Montgomery will both be RB2s, but then he doesn't really have anything beyond that.
Yeah, I love Josh Allen. Obviously, Josh Allen and Diggs are great. He has to start Kadarius Toney. I think he is starting the correct flex, and it's a bad flex. I think that just speaks to the quality of the team.
Not great depth.
Maybe, yeah. Justin, what are you thinking?
Yeah, obviously he didn't have a lot of draft capital, but I think there's potential here. He's got Josh Allen.
Let me see where he took all his picks.
Yeah, there's just not, when you just don't have draft capital, you're not going to win it at the draft. That's just not how it's going to go. It's going to be the in season. He's got some good blocks. He got with Stefan Diggs. I think Zach Ertz could be a fine tight end. David Montgomery, I think, is great running back. potentially this year and DeAndre Swift. So, I think there's some building blocks here, and you're just going to have to make some good waiver ads and see what happens.
Man, there really is a steep talent drop-off after the 6th round, or the 7th round even. And he didn't have 2 of his picks in those first 7 rounds, so it sucks. But
he drafted it the first round, the 2nd round, the 3rd round, kept in the 4th, and then didn't see a pick till the 7th. So it was like touch and go.
We picked Woods in the 7th.
Yeah, and so where are you on Woods? I've got him as wide receiver 3.
Yeah, not that high.
Not that high.
Yeah,
but there aren't that many receivers that came after that are really popping out to me. I mean,
yeah, no, agreed.
Maybe Hopkins if you want to gamble. Maybe Renfro. Renfro would have been a high upside play.
Sneaky. So yeah, that's Santos at 12, and then at 11 is newcomer Bryn.
Bryn at 11.
Yeah, me and Noah have him at 9, so I want to hear why Justin has him so low. Because I have him on the back end of the roster, but not that low.
Well, I think he took a kicker in the 3rd. So
yeah,
your team
that
is
could
just
happen.
Yeah, but he had a spare 3rd rounder.
Yeah,
it's not like it hurt his draft.
It
could have been a better pick. Don't get me wrong.
I think it hurt his draft. I think Rodgers he's okay QB.
I didn't have Rodgers as his QB.
I'm not in on Travis Etienne.
No,
seeing as I have James Robinson on my team, so I'm not quite in on Travis Etienne. He's not all the talk has been it's James Robinson's job.
Really?
Yeah, that's the talk.
Wow.
So I don't know. Tyreek Hill goes from Patrick Mahomes to Tua. I'm not a Tua fan. I like the guy, but I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback. There's a lot of history of good wide receivers going from getting a downgrading quarterback, and there's a drop off. So now Pittman I like, so that's great. And obviously he was a great keeper. Kmet, great tight end, I think could be sneaky good, but does play for an awful team. And I'm not in on Josh Jacobs. So just across the board, he had top 5 draft capital, and then to me, all the players he took, to me, I just don't like. So, and then he took a kicker in the 3rd, so that didn't help either. So we'll see what happens, and maybe, he faces me, so if he beats me, you can dunk on me, but
yeah, Justin buries him and then loses. That would be funny. I actually really want that to happen.
But if this team comes out week 1 and just lays a dud, it's alarm bells, and it just would be such a disappointment because to me, he had top 5 draft capital with Michael Pittman as an excellent keeper, and to me, this is it doesn't look like a great start.
Yeah, okay, so. And I think this is where you're going to see a lot of the varying opinions on these players. We're always very close to the vest on the guys we really, really like going into the draft. And so now you're going to see the truth, right? Everyone has their teams are set. So now, especially us rankers, you're going to see where our opinions lie. I agree with you on some of these cases. I think Hill's going to be fine. I look at Tyreek Hill. I look at Tua, who's a fine quarterback. I think he's better than Jimmy G. The offensive mind coming into the Dolphins is the same guy who was getting Deebo Samuel all those touches, and I think Tyreek Hill's better than Deebo Samuel. I don't think he's going to be a top 3 receiver, but I'm not out on Hill. Etienne is an upside shot. I think that if you believe, and this is I necessarily believe it, but if you believe that Etienne's going to come in and prove that he's a week 1 starter, I don't care if James Robinson gets the first snap. They can be 10 plays in, and Etienne just has the juice, and he's been the talk of camp. He's just saying, and again, just kind of saying, I think that's maybe why I have him higher at 9. I like his starting roster, and yes, he took Justin Tucker in the 3rd, and it was hilarious, and we roasted him the rest of the draft. But he still has a quality starting roster, in my opinion, a lot better than a lot of players. And one of the other things too is the more that I look at Chicago's tape, especially in the preseason, the more I like it. Fields has looked phenomenal, and I think Kmet can be a really, really big asset. I don't think their offense is going to be as bad as people think. And I don't know, Noah, do you share some of those sentiments? I know the depth is terrible.
Yeah, and that's part of it. It's like when I grade your team, I grade your starting line, your starting running backs, wide receiver, tight end, flex, quarterback, but I also grade your depth. And I can't, let me see where I had his depth, and I think that's where he fell, is because his depth I gave it a 2.
Yeah, I gave his depth a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, it's not good. It's not good.
So his starting lineup is fine, and like I could easily see him beating me, week 1. But like over the course of the season, I like if something happens to the starting roster, it's trouble because the depth is not good.
No.
Yeah, I think Tyreek will be boom bust, but I think I'm just a little bit higher on the running backs than Justin is, and it is kind of dicey. Like you don't really know what's going to happen. They're not locked and loaded, but there's potential there. So I would take this over some other rosters just because of the potential upside.
Yeah, but Bryn's at 11. Kessner comes in at 10. And this is a similar situation to Santos, where we have a good manager dealing with loss of draft capital, trying to win last year, tried to buy some wins, got to second, so he almost made it. And this is another situation where I think his starting lineup's fine. For me, I have him really down because I'm not in on Akers. I think having 3 Rams in your starting lineup is not smart. There's things like that I just don't want to make those decisions for my team. He has a lot of dart throws in the bench, which I think is something you have to do when you're down draft capital. Is you have to try to make big take big shots and hopefully some of them connect. But then he's also kind of put himself in the corner where he's going to have to cut some of these guys. And I'm a big proponent of not drafting a kicker or defense. I do it all the time.
He may not cut them though. Like if he just wants to wash week 1 and just hold all these guys for week 1 and see what happens.
It doesn't make sense to me. And he's already been.
Of course,
trying
Noah
to trade.
wants him to wash week 1 as he faces him.
Oh,
week
that's
1.
true. Yeah, you don't need a kicker or defense, man. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I mean, he's already trying to move. So I know Kessner's he's a great manager. So he's already trying to do 2-for-1s and trying to consolidate some of the draft capital to make his roster open up. But I don't think there's a lot of ammo, and I don't think that the starting roster is good. I'm the lowest on him. Noah, you're in the middle. Noah, let's hear from you about this roster.
Well, yeah, I didn't really like Akers, but he's startable at least for now. But I didn't look at the angle of, well, maybe I should have him even lower because he's the 3rd Ram on the team. Because I like the Stafford Cup stack. I had Schultz kind of even with kind of that second tier of tight ends, and like the receivers are good. The 3 receivers, I would start the Sun God in the flex. Keenan Allen, Cup, obviously great receivers. There's just no depth, really. It's all kind of flyers. But yeah. I did kind of try to think, okay, do I want Najee and Cam as my 1-2? And I didn't. So that's why I had him pretty low. And Stafford is he's good, but he's in the 3rd tier of QBs.
Yeah, and I want to hear Justin's thoughts, but. I mean, that late quarterback's probably a strategy you want to roll with the capital, right?
100%.
But, there's not Stafford might not start week 1 right now, which is a problem for his whole roster. Justin?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kessner did a great. I loved his strategy. I think this is probably exactly what at least me or you, Luke, would do. I think knowing kind of how we like to play the game. I think this is exactly what we would have done with the capital that Kessner was dealt. I mean, he waited to take a quarterback. He's stacking the roster with potentials in case an injury happens between now and week 1. And he can make deals. And I know he's already blanketing the league in trade offers. This is exactly what you got to do in the position you got. And I like a lot of his, I think, some of the picks, in terms of, I know we're kind of knocking him for having 3 Rams. I think there's any team that you do want 3 players. I think the Rams is one of those teams that I think it's fine because we expect them to be a pretty good offense. I mean, the wide receivers are fine. Akers, yeah, we'll see. Najee's solid. The starting roster is definitely not the best, but, I do like, on the bench, there's just, I think, quality dart throws across the board. Sure. So, you hit a couple of those, and I think you'll be just fine.
And we're closing out the bottom quarter here, and I will say, of the 3 rosters, I think Kessner's name is the one that I would trust to move up this list fastest. He's really, really talented. We loved having him in the league, and I think that he'll make it work, even if he does some crazy moves. I think that he won't live in this bottom tier, barring some crazy injury, for long.
We shall see.
All right, we're on to 9, and I'm seeing a big disparity between our numbers here at 9. So I'm just gonna kind of look and see why. I did my rankings post draft, and maybe I'm insane. So I've got Mark really high. Mark's here at 9. I got Mark really high. Noah, before we get to why I think he's at 5, Noah, you tell me why you have him at 12. Talking about burying someone. Is
I
this
didn't
just
want to
because
put
he
him
stole
at 12.
your name?
No. No, it's a great team name. No, I love you, Mark. I don't know why I put him at 12, to be honest. I was telling Justin, like, my tool is not that good, and I did these rankings really fast, because, like, if someone is just barely not in the cusp of the right tier, it's like losing a whole point, and then if that happens 3 times, it's like, your ranking on my metric is probably lower than it should be. But yeah, I don't really like his receivers. Like, his best receiver is Hollywood Brown, I think. You can't. I don't think you can really start. I mean, I guess you could start Cooper, but I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't start.
AJ
Cooper.
Brown is unproven. No. Barkley's injury prone. I don't really want to play any Browns. Bench is questionable. Like, Marlon Mack probably isn't worth rostering.
Well,
where did I put?
At the time of the draft, I think he was, but now he's a free agent. So no.
Yeah.
He's not.
So I give him a B for QB. Yeah, this is probably just a consequence of me moving a lot of people around before we got on the pod. He probably shouldn't be at 12, but that's just where it is for now.
So yeah, I think I overcorrected. I think I should probably have him at like,
because everything is like
6.
decent, but nothing.
Yes,
really
and
stands
that's
out.
I like. So personally, Prescott I think is going to have a great fantasy year. I am a little on edge on how everything works in Dallas, but I think they will produce points, and I think Dak Prescott's going to be the center of that. I like Chubb and Barkley. I know that some people are kind of down on Barkley because the Giants' offense isn't that great, and they're kind of down on Chubb because there's no Watson. I think these are really good running backs. I think this is one of the better running back rooms in the league. Personally, this is where I've got them. I agree that Marquise Brown, I think, is his best running back or receiver. But A.J. Brown, Tyler Lockett, and we'll get there, Rashad Bateman are all players who could be great. And you're like, whoa, Tyler Lockett. When we look back at Geno Smith's time in Seattle with 3 starts last year, Lockett was his guy. Lockett had 10-plus targets in each of those games. And garbage time exists, boys. Like, Seahawks don't need to win games for a Seahawks receiver to have a good game. And so I think that there's a lot of potential here. I love the Rashad Penny pick. He was a guy that I had circled because, again, that could, like, Penny could be a league winner. He could also get hurt in week 1 and we never hear from him again. But I like the depth. Like I said, I think I went too high. I initially ranked him 5.
Penny.
I probably should put him like
Words
7
uttered
and 8.
out of Luke's mouth.
Rashad Penny. But I really like it, and I love Bateman. I think Bateman is the key here. If Bateman can become a quality starter, it pushes his entire receiver room around. It gives him some trade capital with some other guys. Because I think like Cooper and Tolbert are worth rostering, at least for now. And yeah, and I mean, guys, come on. Younghoe Koo. How dare you root against Younghoe Koo?
I didn't draft the kicker.
How
man.
dare we?
Or I didn't rank the kicker.
Justin, any other final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think there's a lot of potential here because there are some riskier picks here, like Barkley, for example. But I actually was considering Barkley in the second round if Mark would not have taken him, because he is healthy now, and this is like the cheapest you'll ever get Barkley. Like his talent is such that if he's on the field, he's going to pay off in a big way. And he just needs to stay on the field. So,
well, I mean, injury is one thing, but I think Dayball, with the lack of weapons, is going to I think Barkley is going to be featured.
Yeah,
like I really like Barkley.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I was thinking about is I like his bench. Knox, his arrow's going up because they cut OJ Howard, so that was his one red flag, I think. So, and Knox was also a tight end I was considering had I not gotten a tight end in the second round. So, yeah, I think Mark's roster is solid, and I think there's some quality upside on the bench, which I like.
All right. So let's talk about the team that I don't understand the team name at all. I also love how Ken had to make sure we heard it. He changed his team name and then commented in the chat, Ken has changed his team name, which I love. But going undercover, I don't get it. Please, Ken, if you're listening, text me, call me. Yeah, I want in on the joke. I like inside jokes. I want in on the joke. But here's Ken at 8. I'm the lowest, but we're kind of have him all middling. Noah's on the higher side, and I think that's just because Noah was feeding him draft picks all night.
Yeah, because you drafted the players that I like.
Wait, so you need to kind of enlighten us with that. No, what were you doing there?
We'll start with Noah.
I couldn't pick for 3 rounds. I was like, yeah, pick these guys. That's what I would have picked.
Oh man,
2 years in a row, Ken.
Using someone else for your draft board. But here's Ken, and Herbert, Henry, Deebo Samuel. I can stop right there.
Yep,
that's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Now we look at the other names: Sanders, Irv Smith. I like Thielen. I'm a big Thielen guy.
Thielen,
I was high on Thielen. Lazard, I think, will be starting. I don't think Ken has actually set his roster post-draft.
That's who I put.
Yeah, Lazard should be starting for London.
Yeah, I think that he just he hasn't touched his lineup. It kind of auto-filled it.
Yeah.
So I would have Lazard at the wide receiver too, which is a great dart throw. I think if Lazard is the number one guy, especially in the red zone, he could be huge. But the Singletary early pick really had me whoa. That Irv Smith. Am I wrong, guys? I don't want anything to do with Irv Smith. There are other guys right now on the waiver wire that I would rather have over.
Yeah, he's a streaming tight end. Play him every week.
Yeah, because he's at best, he's probably the 4th target on that offense.
Yeah, at best. I mean, maybe the 5th. Osborne's really shown up again, and you're competing with the running back room.
Yeah.
But like I said at the beginning, Herbert, Henry, and Samuel and Thielen is outstanding. Noah, is this why you have him at 6?
Yeah, I mean, the receivers are awesome. Derrick Henry is a game-changing running back, and Herbert is certainly a game-changing QB, so you can work with that.
Absolutely. And I think it's just a middling. We're kind of right in the middle of the rankings here. Goods and bads. I don't have anything else to say other than, Ken, please tell me what your name means. Please. Justin, anything else before we go to 7?
No, I got nothing else to add.
All right. Also, by the way, too, good to have Ken at my house. It was good to see all you guys, for everyone who came and everyone who's online. I love the draft so much. First draft that we had everyone there at the 100% of the time. It was fantastic. So we're at 7. This is the last bottom half ranking, and this is playing across from Ken this week. It's Jacob. And we all kind of agree exactly where Jacob needs to be. It's right here in the 7-8 area, so 7. And I love Jacob's starting lineup. I think one of my biggest concerns is the same thing that I have with Kestner. He's starting Wilson, Williams. But, I guess that's not a big concern. It's just, I don't like to tie a lot of my team into one offense. We'll get to me. But I love Jefferson. I think Terry McLaurin's a great player and a great pick. Kittle, Gibson comes on real hot here with the unfortunate Brian Robin injury. And I like this bench. I think this is where Jacob needs to live. I think, like I said, we all agree. Someone agree with me more.
Yeah, I think the start, like you said, the starting lineup is solid. I think it could take a little bit for the true potential of this roster to really come forth, because I think it could take a little bit for Javonte and Breece Hall to really hit their stride. But when they do, they're going to be great. If Breece Hall does, which I think he will. I really like the bench. Renfro, great. Zamir White, sneaky good. And
Osborne is a great dart, and Claypool. We don't really know how the targets are going to play out.
We really don't.
And so Claypool could be an asset. He could not be, but it's not like he spent really good draft capital on him.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm not as
So, yeah, I'm
concerned
with
about like having two people from Denver because I think that's an offense that I think you can have multiple people on the roster because it projects to be a strong offense.
sure. No?
Yeah, same thoughts. I think the running backs will pan out. It may not be instant. I think Kittle is awesome. The wideouts are good. Russ is good. He's like, yeah, solid team, solid bench.
I had Jefferson as my like rank 4 player or something. Like
Yeah,
very high.
I was hoping that he was going to fall to me, but also kind of not because I didn't really want to start with a wide receiver this year. But if Jefferson fell, I was going to be
you couldn't say
so
no.
happy.
Yeah, there's no passing that up. Okay, good job, Jacob. It's good to see you're not in 12th to start the year, even though you like it so much.
We'll get there.
Josh, we'll get there. Josh Kobayashi comes in at 6, and this is a polarizing team.
Ooh.
I'm kind of down on Josh's team. Noah's very high on it.
And I'm
So
right in the middle.
Yeah, like I said, very polarizing role. Everybody's Noah. Tell me why you're high on Josh's team.
Let's see.
And then I'll try to tear down your points.
I think Hurts is in the top of the tier, just below Allen and Herbert. Like Allen and Herbert are in their own tier, and then Hurts is right under
Sure.
that. I mean, I do think Deontay will produce, and I do think Adams will still be Adams. So I like his wideouts. His bench, I gave a decent grade because eventually Hopkins will come back because I'm just counting him as a bench player for now. I maybe overgraded his running backs by a bit because I don't know if I would trust Kareem
This
Hunt.
is like maybe my least favorite running back room. Second
Yeah.
least favorite. I hate this running back room.
You don't like Dobbins?
Compared to the rest of the league. Compared to the rest of the league.
Dobbins going to produce?
I don't know. You
Yeah,
tell me.
I don't know, man. Unknown
What about
status for
Hunt?
week run. Yeah.
I feel like I need Chubb to get hurt to believe in Hunt to be a running
No,
back
I don't.
too.
I don't think so. I think he could be a running back 2 on his own if the Browns are smart and know how to utilize him.
Okay.
But yeah, what are your
Well,
thoughts?
counterpoint. I agree with you with Hurts, by the way, and I think Hurts might be the best keeper for value
Yeah.
to like getting a top 3 or top 5, however you look at Hurts, quarterback locked up in the 10th round. I wish I had that luck. That's such a nice
Yeah.
luxury. And I'm big on Jones too. I'm big on Jones. I was even bigger on AJ Dillon just because of the draft cost. But I was telling Josh post draft, if Kamara wasn't there at 12, Jones probably would have been my pick. So I'm big high on Jones. But let's stay in the running back room. Hunt, Dobbins, Jamal Williams. That's it. Dobbins might not even play week 1. Hunt, I know, has standalone value, but I don't see him as a running back 2. I see him as a flex RB3 unless there's an injury or unless the Browns just change how they used him. They used him the same way the last 2.5 years. And it's to spell. He'll get a drive every now and then. It's to spell Chubb. Sometimes he's in on passing plays, but I don't believe in the passing game right now for the Browns. I think it's going to be hard rock the ball, And they lost their center and left guard, so their offensive line is hurting already. And I don't think Hunt will deal as well with breaking first tackles as Chubb will. I think Chubb's just going to get hotter, and then they'll roll with him. So I'm down on Hunt. I like Adams. I think Adams' production will dip slightly. I think he's going to become a much more efficient wide receiver. I know we talked about that in our mock draft. But I'm out on Deontay as a wide receiver too, and that hurts because I love Deontay Johnson. Like, I love him as the player, and I think that this is a good problem for the Steelers as a Steelers fan. We have so many wide receivers that are super talented. We have Demuth rocking the seam. We have Najee can catch him out the backfield. I don't think with the offense that I've been watching, I haven't watched every snap of preseason for the Steelers, that there's going to be a guy who just tears it up for us. That is the look. I think everyone's going to get looks. And so I don't like Deontay, whereas, in the last 2 years, Deontay was 12, 14 targets a game. And he was great. But I just don't see that. And then Hopkins is good in 7 weeks. Olave, I love the Olave dart throw, but we have to let that develop. Alec Pierce, have to let that develop. There's just so much development, and I'm afraid with Josh's roster, and that's why I have him so low, is that he's going to lose too early, and then we know what Josh does when he loses, boys. The tanker comes out. Like, will he last
the
for
engines.
Hopkins? I don't know. These are my concerns.
Just needs 3 and 4.
You're between us.
No, I'm with you. The only reason I have his roster. All right, so Josh thinks he's got a good roster. He texted.
I like Hawkinson too, by the way. Go ahead.
He texted me after the draft. Not gonna lie, I think I have a top 4 or something along those lines. I think I have a top 4 team, which I agree with him. In 7 weeks, I think it's gonna be a top 4 team once it gets going. Because it's because here's the scenario. I think at worst he gets wide receiver 3 play out of Deontay Johnson. And when Godwin and or Hopkins gets back,
Oh yeah, I'm out of Godwin. I didn't even touch on Godwin. Go ahead.
I think they're probably going to be wide receiver 2s. He's going to get wide receiver 2 play out of 2 out of the 3 of Johnson, Godwin, and Hopkins. I think. In which case he has 2 wide receiver 2s plus Adams, who's wide receiver 1. So that's solid. And he's got Hawkinson, who is a pretty good tight end with Hurts. Jones is a locked-in RB1. So he just needs to find an RB2. And we've seen it before. Like, we've seen teams march to a championship without an RB2. Right, Noah? I mean, that was your last championship year. You never had an RB2. So it's the recipe for success is there. But yeah, again, it's just going to take a while. I mean, and that's my problem. It's just like I think it's if it was, in 4 weeks, I'd probably have him in the top 4 easy. Like, as we get closer and if things pan out, But it's going to take a while. Like, who knows?
Well, there you have it, Josh. The rankers are not in consensus. All right. At number 5, another controversial-ish, we have Guy. Guy DeBlanc is sitting at 5. And Justin, you're the highest. Let's hear from you, and then Noah, you can counterpoint as you are the lowest.
Yeah, I really liked his starting roster. Eckler and Fournette are a great running back pair. I mean, you could easily argue that could be the best running back pair in the league. I love his wide receivers. I'm in on Chase. I am so in on DJ Moore, which is why I was so disappointed that you drafted him, Guy, and that you had a 3rd round pick in the first place to draft him because I wanted DJ Moore so bad.
Hold on, wait. He always had that 3rd round pick. He would have had an additional. Anyway, go ahead. He always had that one. He had a bonus. Okay, that one he always had.
No, that's true. Anyway, I'm still mad that that he's on your team. Let's just leave it at that because I wanted him. Gabriel Davis, I'm also very much in on. So I love the wide receivers. I think they're excellent, and I think Goddard could be a solid mid-tier tight end. So I think this starting roster is excellent, and I think the bench is pretty good. We'll see what happens with Dobbs. I mean, the hype train is turning, but I mean, rookies with Aaron Rodgers don't have a great history. Dotson's a starter, so
I like Dotson.
Yeah, and I really like Ramondre Stevenson. I think he could easily pass Damian Harris. I'm not in on Damian Harris at all. So, I think the bench is solid, and that's why I think there's a lot of potential in this team. That's why I'm at 4.
Noah?
I don't really know why you'd want a wide receiver from Washington at all with Wentz throwing the ball there. So
fair counter.
I didn't really consider Dotson. The bottom line is I'm just not as high on Moore, Davis, and Goddard. And I like the Eckler-Fournette combo, but I don't think it's one of the best. Or, I mean, I guess it's just one of the best in the league, but not the best in the league. Just because I'm not as high on Fournette, I guess. And I didn't like Burrow as much as some other QBs. So this was a tough ranking for me because, like I said, the system isn't perfect. And then there were a lot of tiers where he just barely didn't make it to the next tier. And then that hurt him compared to other teams. So I probably should be rating Moore and Davis better. But that was why I had him the lowest of the 3 of us.
I'm kind of in the middle. I love Gabe Davis. I'm not in on Fournette. I like Burrow, but not where he got him. At the time he got Burrow, I believe Murray was still there, and I think for me that's an automatic.
Let's check the draft board.
Wait, he took Burrow over Murray?
Yes.
Ooh,
I took Jackson, and Burrow.
So
went
Burrow
next.
was the second QB off the board that wasn't kept, and
I
then
did not
Murray
notice that.
was 2 picks after.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
Yes. So and I mean, again, that's our because we're gonna get to Murray in a second. Ass. But like, and this is our our opinions, right? Like we do. Maybe Guy might have the read on Burrow that he's going to be the QB1. I don't know.
Could be.
But this is where we all stand.
Yeah, this is just
And I do like
pre-draft,
the
or
stack.
pre-run.
Like getting Burrow and Chase together is nice.
That's gonna be.
cool.
I'm gonna be shaking when I play
in week one.
again.
It's not gonna be great.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think for
Good
me,
luck.
I'm sitting right between you guys, and that's purely based on his bench. I'm not as high on Stevenson. I think it will require Harris injury
Because you
I mean, I
have
do
Harris.
Damian Harris. But even without having Damian Harris, like that was my read on the running back room. I do like Dotson, but this team smells to me like Mark's team last year. If Eckler or Fournette, one of them has a problem early, first 2 weeks, this team is in trouble, like bad trouble. And that's why I'm kind of in the middle. I've got Guy. Where do I have Guy? I have Guy at 6 right in the middle because I do like the prospects. I do like his draft, but the lack of RB depth and the unknowns, how it all works together, I have him right in the middle. It's like I wouldn't want to be in this position. But yeah, some questionable draft picks. Others, I know you're out on Davis, Noah. I love Gabe Davis. When he took Davis before I
didn't
could
say I
get
was
him, I was
out.
like, but you were down on him.
Yeah,
Sorry,
down.
you were
Yeah.
kind of down on him, and I was like, I was targeting Davis with my next pick.
Yeah,
when I
me
took him.
too.
So there's definitely, and I'm with you, Justin. I think DJ Moore is going to crush this year. So yeah, definitely potential. But Guy, I think 5's a good spot for you. And here we are, we're in the top 4, and I'm excited to make it the top 4 because I'm 4. Yeah, top 4, baby. So I can talk for days about my team, but I'm not even the highest on my team. Justin, tell me why you're even higher on my team than me.
Yeah, I mean, Luke and
explain this.
Noah and I were talking about this because Noah's, I think, is the lowest on your team. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is. We're all right there, though.
Yeah, I just think so. Again, how I rate your starters and your depth, and it's not even close. I think you have the best depth. And knowing the way you play it, you're gonna find deals. You're gonna find people to swindle off their starters. So.
Look at the team name. Look at the team name. It's forecasting,
That's not what
baby.
this grade is about.
But it's my
Anyway,
grades,
sorry, keep
Noah.
going.
I grade it how I,
I love
want
it.
to.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I love it. Keep going. I love it. Keep going.
And I do take into account managerability. Yeah, so
The mark of the deal. It's happening.
I mean, and there's pillars here. I mean, you got Kamara. I think Kamara is going to be an RB1 this year. His looming suspension is reported not till 2023, so that's nothing to worry about. So wheels up. Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I think because he's probably going to have a running game. I mean, I think Dobbins eventually gets back, and will be great and Edwards will come back. So he's got reinforcements coming. Christian Kirk, I think, could be sneaky good this year. He's looked like a target monster during the preseason, and the Jaguars look competent, and that's big. Andrews,
Yeah.
I think, could be the tight end 1. I'm not in love with I rated your flex really badly because I'm not in on Harris, and I don't think any of your bench guys are like clear.
It would be like Harris, C-Pat, or Ayuk, probably.
Yeah, one of those 3. And I'm not in. I don't think they're great
Sure.
flexes compared to the rest of the league, but the bench it's just quality all across. Like Patterson, he could, if he continues to do what he did last year, he's going to be a steal. Pollard, we'll see what happens with him, but he's easily a top end backup, handcuff, and could have standalone value. Algier, whoever emerges in the Atlanta backfield, you've got him. Ayuk has reportedly taken a step forward. We'll see. Rondale Moore is going to be counted on early in the season, and Wan'Dale Robinson, he could be the wide receiver one because nobody else can play in New York. So, yeah, I love the bench, and that's why I have you at where do I have you at 3? Yeah,
You have me at 3. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, Noah, I'll defend myself, but tell me why Justin's wrong. It shouldn't be that high.
I mean, I had you at 5, so like we said, right there.
Yeah,
but
it's
Yeah,
like-
we're all
it's
the
like-
same.
yeah, we're in the same
Kamara's
range.
a low in
Yeah.
RB1. I think Hyde is a low, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire is low in RB2, and I don't really want to have Harris on my team. He's probably high in RB3. Obviously, Andrews is S tier for tight end. I had Jackson at A tier. But I'm not as high on the receivers. I feel like the CeeDee Lamb breakout maybe isn't coming. Like, he didn't do that great last year for what you were expecting. I don't know why you would expect anything different this year. And then I don't know like what I would do with receivers after that, to be honest. Like, there's nothing that really. Maybe I just don't know as much about these players as you guys, but that's how I rated it.
Sure. So, and like you said, we're all in the same area, and we lost Justin. Hopefully, he comes back here. For me, I think the weaknesses of my team. We'll talk about CD in a second. Is my seconds, my RB2, my wide receiver 2. They're not as high end. They're not as proven. But I do, and I have myself ranked 4th, so we're 3, 4, 5 in this. But I do believe in my ones. Jackson, Kamara, Lamb, and Andrews to me are just insane. And I think any of them can carry their room respectively. Obviously, Andrews and Jackson are a room of one. But yeah, I think coming away from the draft, a lot of these players are not ones I expected to get. But I like them all. And I think the big thing is CeeDee Lamb. If CeeDee Lamb truly becomes the number 1 as a top 5 wide receiver, then I think I'll climb. But if Lamb is craters, like if he's fine, then I'll hang out. But if he craters, then my whole team will suffer. But that's just personal opinion. I can see the path where he's another one. I think he's going to kill it. I think that even if it's garbage time or whatever, I just don't think you can turn off CeeDee Lamb for 4 quarters in a game every week, especially because he won't be competing with Cooper at all. There is no competition. It's him and Schultz. Pollard might emerge and take away from Zeke a little bit, but I'm really excited about Lamb. But like I said, I see the path where it doesn't happen, and that would be a path where the Cowboys implode or Dak gets hurt, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, and then Justin said it well. I like more Robinson, Ayuk, Algier as shots. Robinson, I'm really excited about just because the offense Brian Dable's bringing to New York. They use the slot a ton, and that's where Wandell apparently locked it up early in camp and just been blowing it away. But I also like what I like about Robinson and Moore is that I should know within the first week or two. Like if they suck, I can go move on from them very quickly. Whereas like an Algier or a Ayuk, I might have to hold on for a little longer to see how they play out. There you go. Enough about me. Thank you. I appreciate Justin. You made me feel good. I mean, I like my team a lot. I don't think I'm the best team, but I definitely like where I'm sitting and the ammo I have. And it's a long season, boys. It's a long season. Speaking of, we got Justin at 3. Justin Kobayashi at 3. Me and Noah both love your team, Justin. For some reason, you're down on your team compared to us.
I'm just at 5.
modest.
It's not that much.
Yeah, it's not like you're like crazy down on it. And Noah, tell us why Justin's team is actually good, other than his phenomenal team name.
The running backs rock. I think Mixon and Connor is
that's the best room in the league.
one of the better ones in the league for sure. I mean, Kelsey is dependable. There's no holes at wide receiver, even to wide receiver 3. I think Metcalf will still be good. The bench is solid. I would have taken all the guys when he did kind of later in the draft. I think he made good draft picks. I think Lance is a question mark, but like you gotta have faith in it at this point. So, yeah, solid.
Yeah,
solid
I agree. Lance was a lot of my mocks. I was targeting Lance later as a later quarterback, taking an extra wide receiver running back in the 5th. How the draft just went down. That's when I took Jackson and my game plan changed. But I bring that up because I believe in Lance as well. I think Lance is a great pick, but definitely a question mark for sure. But I'm with you, Noah. I think Metcalf as a 3, it's great. Like as my 2, I'd be kind of but as a 3, I love it. And yeah, I love his bench. What can I say? It's fantastic. Justin, you want to share anything else about your immaculate team here, or it's very good at least?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think my draft. This has probably been the best draft I've ever had, which is
last year might have been better.
Huh?
Last year was pretty good too.
Last year was
Last year
good.
he stole George Kittle. Okay.
Well,
championship.
each of the past 2 years, I've had to pull off like a trade, like a kind of a trade that I didn't think I was going to be able. Maybe shouldn't have been able to pull off. Like I got James Robinson 2 years ago, for like pennies, and then I got Kittle
Oh,
for
yeah.
pennies last year. And I think this year, like the team doesn't have like any. Each year that I come away, the past 2 years, I've had like a gaping hole. Like 2 years ago, I think it was my RB2. Last year is the tight end, and I was able to fix those in season. This year, like there's no gaping hole, which I'm super happy about. You know, Travis Kelce falling to me was like,
That's insane.
oh, I was so happy about that. I was hoping to get, Andrews because I thought Kelsey was going to go first, and that was plan A.
No.
Plan A was getting
No.
a tight end in round 2. But then you took Mark Andrews, Luke, and then Kelsey kept falling, and I was like, oh my goodness, am I going to be able to go with plan A? And he came, and I was like, plan A, baby. And then, yeah, DK Metcalf is, I'm kind of nervous about him, but he's my wide receiver 3. So, like, I'm not super worried about it. I'm a little nervous about Lance. Like, San Francisco signing Jimmy Garoppolo made me a little nervous. And I was already a little nervous about Lance to begin with. Like, I think his upside is high, but I'm not super confident, which is why I drafted Cousins
I love
in
Cousins.
the 15th, which I was quite happy that he fell all the way there. I think my other plan was there was another quarterback I was going to draft in the 15th, but I didn't have to. And Cousins was good, by far higher on my board. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with the running backs. My running back depth is not super great. Like, we'll see what happens with Henderson and Robinson. I'm on like both sides of the Achilles situation. Like, if running backs can come back from Achilles and be fine, then James Robinson will be great. If running backs can't, then Darrell Henderson will be great. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And I think Devontae Smith is low key like everybody's kind of buried him, but he was great
he's
last
fine.
year.
Yeah, I think he could be a wide receiver 3 for sure. I think there's just the passing volume in Philadelphia, right? Might be on the lower side. Just passes attempted. All right, we're in the top 2 now. And we're going to talk about 2. And it's yet another Kobayashi. Sam's at 2, and we're in agreement. Sam is 2. We all think it should be 2. Which is wild. You know, it's crazy when this happens. Very rare when the rankers all agree. But here we are, Stinky Pitts, racking in, and it's just not. But yes, there's a team I like more, but that's nothing about this team being great. I mean, you guys.
There's really nothing to knock on it. It's just good all around.
I guess the
Yeah.
RB2.
Yeah, maybe the RB2 is the
Mitchell?
only thing that.
I
But he's
would
got
play
Dylan on the
Dylan.
bench.
I
And,
would
like,
play Dylan too. I don't know. Yeah, I think. Oh,
But who's his
So,
who's
dude.
his wide receiver 4, guys? You're missing that.
why isn't the depth there? Come on. His tight end 2 doesn't exist. Come on. I mean, Patty, great. JT, number 1 overall, as he should be. I would put Dylan at 2. Evans and Waddle. Wait, Waddle should be in the flex because Mike Williams is in the
Yeah.
flex. Kyle Pitts could have an amazing year. I'm kind of getting high on Kyle Pitts.
I'm
Mariota looks
super
great.
high on Kyle Pitts. I'm like, I have another draft this Friday, and I'm like, I am getting
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts
circle.
at all. Like,
Juju could be the one, and if not, he's still catching passes from Patrick Mahomes, who I said was on the roster. It's like, I love the team. I love what Sam's doing. Sam did his homework, and I think he was crushing it in the draft. Yeah. Noah, anything else to add? It's just fantastic.
No, good stuff. I mean, I'm not as high on Pitts as you guys, but obviously he's a top tier tight end. Insane potential. Yeah, I mean, deserved to.
And speaking of deserved 2, that means there has to be 1 at 1,
Who could it be?
and it's Noah. All right, good night, everybody.
All right, good show. See you next
See you
time.
later.
gosh dang it.
And my,
Another unison here.
yes, we all agree. Noah came away with the best draft. And how did you get Kyler Murray, Noah?
Pure luck.
Explain this to me. Explain this to me. I could be mad at you, and I am.
I
Taking
mean,
Dameon Pierce.
yeah, Waller
For
fell to
taking
me.
Chase Edmonds.
Murray fell to me. I think Robinson fell to me. I had the luxury of kind of going and just grabbing Edmonds and Pierce when I wanted to, just because I had all the draft capital. Which, I mean, that's
Because you could.
that's why.
You could.
It's not like
Like I
didn't
couldn't
do anything
there was
exceptional here. It's just luck and draft capital.
Yeah, your draft capital just
stupid.
allowed you to do things that me and Luke could just never dream of doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm, the whole draft trading aside, I was fighting tooth and nail to get myself in a position where I was comfortable. And Noah's just like, take my running back 4 and the 6, no problem.
Yeah.
I have the rest of the team tied up. Like, it's
No,
so stupid.
really having the 2 kept wide receivers gave me so much flexibility. Like this
That's
was
true.
this was the plan. Like running back, wide receiver, running back, and then just grab a tight end and QB before I ran out of picks in the 6th, and it worked perfectly, thankfully.
And
Yeah, and
you know,
Waller
the-
fell. So that was
Waller
helpful
fell,
for
yeah.
you.
and Waller, is playing hurt. Here it's just contract, and they're going to sign him. He's going to be fine. He's going to be out there week 1. Oh,
Yeah, that
frustrating.
was a nice sleeper alert. The contract extension.
Just and so okay. I think the one drawback is some people don't have Cortland Sutton as a wide receiver 1. Maybe.
Yeah,
I
I mean
do.
that's the only
I
way.
have him as a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do as well.
I mean,
My
yeah.
round 3 targets were number 1 was DJ Moore, number 2 Cortland Sutton. That was pretty
Yeah.
much the end of the list right there.
Russell has always supported a wide receiver 1 in all of his years, except for last year because he was hurt. And why wouldn't it be Sutton? He was apparently killing it in camp. So yeah,
Yeah, I think Sutton will be
I'm in.
wide receiver 1. I think Michael Thomas and Allen Robinson will greatly perform their ADPs.
agreed.
Yep.
Mooney maybe better than we expect, and just the running back depth is insane. Like I think I have the best.
Like I
running
guess you
backs
could
if
drop
you go to
Isaiah
running back
Spiller.
4.
That's my
Yeah,
only
probably.
critique.
Yeah, as far as a whole, like all the running backs in the roster, this is definitely the best. I think there are a pair of 2s that I would prefer.
Agreed,
Like top
yeah.
2s, but overall the depth is insane.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to start Edmonds and Pierce. I would kill to have them at my RB2 spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And flex Hyde. Like that's frustrating. And I like my team. Like that's the other. It's like I like my team, but this team is stupid. That being said, watching 4 weeks, we'll have Noah at 9 because his
Yeah,
keepers
just
didn't pan
start
out.
start 0-3. Just
Yeah.
build the team again.
Yeah, I
I
thought
can
your
get a lot
team
of picks
last
next
year
year
was
for these-
like a
these
juggernaut,
players.
right?
Yeah, last year we had him at like 2.
Yeah,
Overall.
but like my wide receiver 1 and my wide receiver 2 both imploded, and then like what do I do after that?
Yeah. No. And your RBs weren't great. Like Jones was hot and cold, and Montgomery was hot and cold, and yeah. Oh, all right. Well, there you go, boys. Noah takes it home in the pre-draft rankings. Just quick note: Kessner has had both pre-drafts 2 years in a row before this. So Noah unseating him on the throne, which is pretty interesting, and some interesting risers. We'll see how the season starts. We have our first game next Thursday. I keep staring at my team. I keep opening stuff. I'm like, why aren't points happening? I want to see the points come in.
The only draft award that matters is the one at the end of the year. So, and that could be anybody. Like,
It could be.
it doesn't really matter what it is now because obviously my team's going to be because I had all the extra picks. So I'm just all the players are still kind of at their ADP, but we'll see how things shake up in 6, 7, 8 weeks.
Agreed. And there was something else I wanted to say, but I do not remember.
Oh yeah, before we end, 3 picks: your dark horse, your biggest disappointment, and your champion.
Oh,
Preseason
I
predictions.
wasn't prepared for this. Okay,
Champion. Okay, to win everything is me, obviously.
dark horse.
Well, hold on, and Noah won it. Justin won it. It's my turn. It's just fair. It's my turn. So thank you, everyone. It's your consolation for saying thank you for being commissioner for 10 years. You're welcome. You're welcome, and I'll take my championship. Dark horse. I think the bust is Bryn.
Yeah, that was my buzz pick as well.
Just because I mean, like I said, I don't mind his roster as much. I have him at 9, but he could have been better.
Well, if
I mean,
I'm
look
thinking
at-
bust, I'm thinking like someone in the top 6 who won't make playoffs.
Okay, fair.
It's
Then
open
let
to
me rephrase.
interpretation. So however you want to.
Then
interpret that.
it's Guy, just because I think he's one injury away from disaster. Personally. But Bryn takes Tucker. I'm trying to open the draft board real quick. and he could have had T. Higgins.
Yeah, T. Higgins probably would
Like-
have been the likely pick.
Like just right there, like just the next pick could have had. If you're looking Robinson, I guess he got Jacobs, Cooks, AJ Brown. I would have taken all those guys over Tucker, obviously. I mean, it's Tucker, but some capital there.
Would have taken half the board over Tucker.
Yeah.
That's fun.
But guy for me, I guess, would be a top half team that I think could flush out.
I think my dark horse is Josh, just because
I was going to
if
say
the
Josh
team
as well.
can get it together in time. It's going to be it could be a juggernaut.
Yeah.
I think my dark horse is Jacob.
I like it.
I was thinking Jacob,
I-
but I think Josh takes the.
I think
takes that spot
Gibson's
for
going to
me.
be an RB1 again. I really
Whoa,
do.
hot take.
Whoa.
And I'm just being honest. I think he is. And that means that Breece Hall doesn't have to turn up. And if he does, this team is insane.
Yeah.
Like, if he has 2 RB1s and an RB2, plus Jefferson and Kittle and Russell, this is
Yeah.
a juggernaut team.
Yeah, it is.
But we just don't know,
completely
right?
agree.
Williams, Hall, and Gibson are question marks right now.
Yeah.
In that regard. Like, I think they're going to be good, but in that regard, like, how explosive.
Yeah. They're not
So,
proven necessarily.
Right. They could.
They haven't
they
done
have the
it before.
potential.
Yeah, they have the
Yeah.
potential, but they haven't done it before. Yeah.
Right. All right, boys. I think this is a great pod. I liked it.
Yep.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you all next time. You'll be hearing from us after week 1, so we're going dark till after week 1. You will hear from me for trades, probably, but otherwise, adios. See you all later.
Peace.
Peace.